In 2022, over 258 million people in 58 countries and territories face IPC 3 or above acute food insecurity. Of those countries, of those 258 million, 179.1 million of them, which is in 41 countries, have an IPC or cadre harmonisé analysis. And 79 million of them were in 17 countries without an IPC or cadre harmonisé analysis. If we decompose the 179.1 million people, 0.38 million are in IPC phase 5, which is catastrophe, 35 million in emergency, and 143.7 million in crisis, which is IPC phase 3. In addition, 253 million people were in stress IPC or cadre harmonisé phase 2 in 41 countries. Now, the population are facing high levels of acute food insecurity, not only in magnitude, but also in prevalence. If we look at the 10 largest food crisis countries in terms of magnitude, the first one will be the DRC, the second one will be Ethiopia, then Afghanistan, Nigeria, Yemen, Myanmar, Syria Arab Republic, Sudan, Ukraine, and Pakistan. In Sudan, for example, there is 11.7 million people in acute food insecurity. So that's an alarm given the current situation as was being presented before. In terms of prevalence, the largest food crisis, over 35%, is in South Sudan, 63%, Haiti, 48%, and CAR, 44%. The number of people on catastrophic IPC phase 5 is 376,000 in 7 countries in 2022. These countries are Somalia, 214,000 in October to December 2022, South Sudan, 87,000 in April to July 2022, Yemen, 31,000 in January to May 2022, Afghanistan, 20,300 in March to May 2022, Haiti, 19,200 from September to February 2023, and Nigeria, 3,000 in October to December 2022, and Burkina Faso, 1,800 in October to December 2022. This is IPC 5, so this is catastrophe. Total 376,000 people in 7 countries in 2022. Now, what is the global overview in terms of displacement? 53.2 million were internally displaced in 25 food crisis countries, and 19.7 million were refugees and asylum seekers in 55 food crisis countries. The global overview on malnutrition shows that areas with high levels of acute food insecurity tend to have high levels of child wasting. Over 35 million children under 5 were wasted in 30 ERFC countries, and 65% of them lived in 9 of the largest food crisis countries. Finally, before I pass the floor to Arif, if we look at the drivers, the primary drivers of acute food insecurity in these countries were conflict, which was the main driver for people, but economic shocks in this opportunity were the main drivers for more countries. And this is a consequence of what happened with COVID-19 and which was exacerbated by the war in Ukraine. And the global food prices decreased since March 2022, as FAO has reported, but we have not seen the transmission of that decrease into domestic food prices, which still remain high. And the floods in Pakistan and drought in the Horn of Africa continue to drive food insecurity, and also, of course, in the case of Pakistan, the third exporter of rice in the world is affecting prices in rice, and the potential Niño will also affect production in the Horn of Africa.